You to a full year's worth of radiation in just 12 minutes.
That's not that bad. A single CT scan exposes you to 3 years of background radiation. Right? We watched that video from Veritasium. This room is the most dangerous place in the world. I'm gonna take a guess before even watching. It's because it's radioactive.
What's radioactive?
I have no idea, I'm just taking a guess. And it absolutely was, I'm a fucking genius.
This video was made possible by Mozilla. Learn which products respect your privacy with their privacy not included buyer's guide using the link in the description. Everybody and everything that has ever existed eventually dies. Death is ultimately just part of living on our planet. So it should come as no surprise to you that Earth is a dangerous place. But where on Earth is the most dangerous place? Assuming that you could take all available precautions like clothing, gear, weapons, a handy Toyota, or whatever else you can think of, and disregarding any laws relating to access, where would be the most dangerous place that you could go to that you're allowed to be prepared for? The quick answer is a basement located here in Ukraine, but the longer answer is ridiculously interesting and totally worth your time to listen through a little backstory. The basement is located in a familiar town to many of you called Pripyat, and is nearby
that's where Stalker takes place, I think.
Power plant called Chernobyl. Over 30 years ago, in 1986, the Chernobyl power plant experienced a catastrophic disaster.
That happened in 86? I thought it was a lot
during a routine overnight test, reactor number 4 in the plant experienced a power surge. The nuclear core's temperature inside of this reactor grew rapidly, and in the following attempt to control this temperature, an even greater power surge was caused instead. Due to numerous design flaws inside of the reactor, 2 explosions followed from a buildup of steam caused by the core's increasing temperature. This molten fuel began to seep down to the bottom of the reactor vessel. This nuclear lava melted through this vessel and into the concrete and pipes below, where it eventually reached the reactor.
Yeah, but isn't there that plant that eats radiation? We'll just start planting those.
Control rods, sand, glass, and concrete slowly cooled into an object that would later be called the elephant's foot. Back above the ground, the Soviet Union engaged in the largest civil engineering project in world history to contain the radiation
if it was closer, I'd go.
Atmosphere from the reactor. 500,000 workers were brought in to
You'd move to a different country if it were here.
A gigantic concrete and steel fortress built around the destroyed reactor. Inside to this day are sealed 200 tons of radioactive corium, 30 tons of highly contaminated dust, and 16 tons of uranium and plutonium. Being on the roof of this sarcophagus is enough to expose you to a full year's worth of radiation in just 12 minutes. And the inside is so lethally radioactive that it could kill you within minutes.
Let me hear that.
That it is 12 years worth of radiation. The roof of this sarcophagus is enough to expose you to a full year's worth of radiation in just 12 minutes.
That's not that bad. A single CT scan exposes you to 3 years of background radiation. Right? We watched that video from Veritasium. A single CT scan gives you 3 years worth of radiation, I think. Background radiation. I guess this is different.
And the inside is so...
No shot? Yeah, it does. No, it does. An abdominal CT scan gives you, I'm pretty sure it was 3 years worth of your normal about 3 years of background radiation. Oh, my webcam's blocking it. 12 minutes isn't that long, though. A CT scan's not that long. CT scan's less than 12 minutes. Well, I guess, depends. That's fucking nothing, though. The most radioactive people on the planet are smokers. They get more radiation than, like, a CT scan, astronauts, all of that, by a long shot. Daily. So, smoking, like, just literal smoking cigarettes is the most radioactive thing you can possibly do to yourself. Fucking crazy. Yep, more than... Here, I'll bring up the video again. Veritasium explains it better than I do. I'll just skip to the end.
An astronaut on the space station for 6 months will receive about 80,000 microsieverts worth of radiation. But not even they are exposed to the highest levels of ionizing radiation. So can you guess who is? The answer is a smoker's lungs. A smoker's lungs, on average, receive 160,000 microsieverts worth of radiation every year. That's due to the radioactive polonium and radioactive lead in the tobacco that they're smoking. So not only are they exposed to carcinogens and toxins, they also receive very high levels of radiation. So it's not the people of Fukushima or Chernobyl or radiation workers or even astronauts who receive the highest doses of ionizing radiation. That honor goes to your ordinary, average smoker.
Isn't that fucking crazy? When I heard that, I was blown away. And then I looked it up because I wanted to double check. Pretty much everything I can find confirms that that statement is pretty much true. It's wild. Thanks to the resub. Latiter. Not many people smoke cigarettes anymore, at least not many people I know. So I think it's kind of on its way out. But even still, that's pretty crazy.
The sarcophagus
I know a lot. Well, there's a difference between smoking weed and smoking cigarettes. What makes cigarettes so bad, like radiation-wise, is the tobacco, like you mentioned.
Scientists were sent into the ruins to search for nuclear fuel that could cause another explosion. And after 6 months of searching, a team encountered an unbelievably radioactive mass in the basement around the corner from where they were standing. Using a remote-controlled camera, the team took the very first photographs of the elephant's foot located inside. It's only 2 meters across, but it weighs as much as 100 tons.
God damn!
And it was so dangerous at the time that it would expose you to 10,000 Roentgens per hour, which means that in just 30 seconds it would be enough to induce extreme dizziness and fatigue in you that would last up to 2 weeks. After 2 minutes of being near it, it would be enough to cause your cells to hemorrhage. And after 4 minutes of being near it, it would cause vomiting, diarrhea, and a fever. If you were near it for just 300 seconds, it would be enough to guarantee your death within 2 days. But despite this, we have several photographs that exist of people right next to it. The grainy and almost ghostly effect that you're seeing in this photograph is because of the radiation produced by the elephant's foot interfering with the film of the camera. Nobody knows what happened to this worker or the photographer taking this picture, but based on the time limits that I listed earlier, it probably isn't very good. They may not have known just how dangerous the object was then, but over the 30+ years since then, the elephant's foot has grown weaker. A study in 1996, 10 years after the disaster, suggested that 5 minutes in the presence of the elephant's foot now would be enough to give you radiation sickness, and an hour next to it would be enough to kill you, which is far better than the 300 seconds that
it's weakening, okay.
However, the elephant's foot is still
extremely
hot and is still melting through the concrete floor of the basement. Should it melt all the way through...
Hold on, I just gotta pause for this. Radioactivity is the most fucked up things humans have done. But man, I'm gonna have to sit you down here for a second. We didn't make radioactive anything. We didn't create radiation. Every single day you go outside, you are naturally exposed to ionizing radiation from the sun. Radiation is natural. If you're talking about nuclear energy, that's like the literal cleanest energy you can have. The Chernobyl disaster is just a horrible, horrible accident that happened. But we didn't make radiation. That is out there all around you all the time. In fact, a single banana has a not insignificant amount of radiation. It's not dangerous, but it's, you know, you can measure it and it's there. Everything has radiation. Everything is radioactive to like a certain level. So sleep in fear.
So if you're looking for the most dangerous place to be on Earth, the inside of this building should definitely be near the top of your list. And if you're looking for some privacy, here is Mozilla's Privacy Not Included Buyer's Guide. The holidays are right around the corner, and a great gift is one that won't spy on you. But the good news is that Mozilla has created a completely free...
So that was exactly what I expected it to be. It was mainly just a brief history of Chernobyl, and if you stay in Chernobyl, it's not good. It's always still interesting, though. Chernobyl really is a pretty fascinating catastrophe. It disappeared 53 years ago, then reappeared. A plane disappeared and landed 37 years later. I'm assuming this is the one you mean, right?
On July 2nd, 1955, Pan American Flight
Jesus
914
Christ,
made its way
Maki. Thanks for
from
the
New
Prime
York
Duck.
to Miami, Florida.
Thank you, Maki.
It was
God
a fine,
damn.
sunny day, and 57 passengers on board the plane were looking forward to seeing the warm beaches and palm trees of
Miami sucks. It was probably better the plane disappeared.
But 3 hours
Miami's
later,
trash.
when it should have already landed at the destination airport,
Thanks for
it
reset
was
tunnel.
nowhere to
Prime
be seen.
Smith.
Radars
Thank you so much,
at the control
Maki.
tower in Miami didn't show any approaching aircraft, and no distress signals were received either. When air traffic control contacted the New York tower, they got a perplexing reply. Flight 914 just disappeared from the radars in midair.
Oh, so they got abducted. Let's
Everything
go.
indicated that the plane was lost to thin air, leaving no trace of itself or any of the people on board.
Did Pan America ever have a successful flight? I feel like every tragedy involves that one, that airline from back in the day.
It seemed that the only explanation of its vanishing was that it crashed somewhere along the way.
Prime Galax.
Rescue teams were deployed, the Coast Guard was scanning the waters, but still no luck.
Hey, Tampa slaps, Miami
A single piece
sucks.
of the lost plane was to be found. Although the case was never really solved, there was an official statement that the plane crashed, taking the lives of everyone on board.
I'm assuming that was wrong, though?
Despite numerous and understandable questions from the grieving relatives, no one could say what really happened to Flight 914, until 37 years later at least. Change of scenery. It's now September 9th, 1992, and we're in Caracas, Venezuela. It's a perfectly normal day for Juan de la Corta, air traffic controller at the Caracas airport. He turned up at work, made some coffee, and took his seat.
He seems so nice.
He was giving some minor comments on a flight in progress when something weird happened. Seemingly out of nowhere, a new dot appeared on the radar. It was as if an aircraft had just popped up from nothingness, or as if it had been hiding from the radar and now decided to show up. Either way, it was a strange thing to see near a civil airport, and De La Corta checked the reading several times, thinking at first that it was a mistake.
This is false, you think?
Though.
I don't know.
The readings were correct,
Seems like a weird story to make
he and his
up.
colleagues were able to see it with their own eyes.
This is so intense.
In less than 10
like the way this is edited.
The culprit showed up in the field of vision. At first, it looked to the air traffic control like an ordinary airplane. But as it got closer, they could see that it was, in fact, a very old DC-4 McDonnell Douglas passenger aircraft, and the pilot of the mysterious aircraft contacted the tower and asked in English, "Where are we?" As the one in charge
What
at
the
the time,
fuck?
Juan de la Corta replied
This feels
they were
so
closing in
fake.
on the Caracas
It's some
airport
sci-fi shit.
and asked where the flight was headed. There was a pause on the other side, and then the pilot answered,
Thanks, use of
"We are
actors.
Pan Am Flight 914 headed from New York to Miami, Florida, with a crew of 4
This is
and
absolutely
37
fake.
passengers on board." This took the air control completely off guard.
Oh, this
What
is
was
fake.
a Pan Am
Oh.
flight doing 1,100 miles away
Man, what the
from
fuck?
its point of destination? And how did it even get there? De La Corta was quick to ask a few more questions to the pilot, and what he heard next baffled him. The pilot said his flight was scheduled to land at the Miami airport at
I thought this was gonna be
9:55
like a real
on July
story.
2nd, 1955. Now it was time for the tower to fall into silence. No one can explain what happened that morning in Caracas.
So this is just super fake all around.
Smell that? Smells kind of fishy, right? I must say, though, there's much dispute about the credibility of this event. Back in 1985, a tabloid called Weekly World News.
Oh, so they even address it in this video. Okay.
And yes, I just said 1985, 7 years before the most popular version appeared. Later, the same news.
Okay. It's just a fake story then, entirely. I thought it was going to be some kind of like interesting brain buster, like how could this plane disappear and reappear so long later? Guess not. I just got fucking had. How many of your old videos have been found so far? 0. Like I said, it's most likely impossible. I have links to a lot of the, well, I have links to like pretty much every old video. They're all dead links, but I do have them. If anyone's good at rebuilding them, I guess. And I imagine that's the way it'll stay. You seen the video of the woman that builds hobbit houses? Christy Wolf builds underground home and sets rural west. I don't even know what WA is. It's Washington State.
This property was inexpensive because you can't get any city utilities.
So does she just make the Shire?
I did have plans.
That's the blueprint? This is like something I would doodle. How do you take this and actually translate it to a house? Or is this just like a sketch of what she thinks it would be cool to look like?
Just plans that I had drawn out on graph
paper.
Oh,
here we go.
Done the math myself. So some things did have to change, but for the most part, we worked off of those.
It looks nice. You did a wonderful job.
I read the books and I've watched the movies, but when I was getting closer to this build,
How does this go on for 25 minutes?
I did that because you can lay in bed and look at the fantastic view.
That is a cool view. Middle Earth never looked better. Man, it seems like a lot of people have done this. Have you seen the one about the woman who's in a relationship with a carnival ride? Yeah, of course I have. We've seen all of the, like, objectophiles. I don't think there's any we've missed. There's only, like, 500 in the world, too, apparently. Guy who married his car? Yep, of course. And the guy that just has, like, a polyamorous relationship with his car, so he ends up, like, fucking the director's cars when they went to, like, film him. He finished on their, I think it was, like, their hood or something. Seen it all. Have you seen the 3D printed houses? Why this 3D printed house will change the world. Well, it's been over a year now. The world's about the same. Actually, it's barely been a year.
Exclusive and many impressive prototypes.
That's kind of nice. Oh, that looks like Tatooine.
But things have just taken a massive step forward in Germany, with the completion of the first ever 3D printed home to become fully certified under a national government's building regulations.
Thanks to the Prime.
The impact of this moment for construction and for the buildings we all use could be huge.
Was it cool? I didn't know that, actually. I didn't know they were 3D printed.
Cutting waste, reducing time on site, and addressing labour shortages, some see 3D printing as the answer to many of our world's challenges. Originally used for small-scale prototypes, advances in 3D printing have led to the creation of full-scale structures like bridges and homes, and even plans for mankind's first Martian base. But
3D printing is really fucking cool.
Around the world, from Canada and the Netherlands to Dubai, which wants to 3D
I really don't
print
think we need
a
slow mode, man.
buildings by 2030.
It's not like crazy or anything.
The technology is yet to take off as a widespread building technique.
That's cool. I don't really need to see a whole a whole explanation of it. I get the concept. They look pretty nice. They're starting to 3D print meat. Yeah, they've been working on that for a while. It's a pretty cool. Okay, so it's the supercars in the desert. I hope it's interesting.
What if I told you that halfway across the globe, there are hundreds, maybe even thousands of abandoned supercars slowly decaying in the desert,
Chocolate's my favorite flavor.
Parking garages. It's not just rich guys ditching their cars.
Aww.
Jaguar XJ220 and this Toyota Formula One race car are all just dying a slow death. Is this the work of some spoiled Arab princes with too much money on their hands? Well, actually, it's a lot deeper than that. And to understand why these cars were left, we have to take a closer look at how this city operates. Dubai is the largest city in terms of population in the sovereign state of the United Arab Emirates, or UAE for short. And anything expensive you could ever dream of, which is why it attracts some of the richest people in the world. I had a buddy go there, I'm pretty sure he said that you could buy gold out of vending machines. Not bullshitting you on that. As of 2013, 96% of Dubai's population was foreign-born. Compared to a city like New York, about 37% foreign-born, that figure is staggering.
Yeah, I'm not impressed.
Like the melting pot of the world, right? One of the main draw points for the UAE is that it has no income tax. And that's a huge selling point for people that make my yearly salary in a day. So you can imagine that if you've got a 7-figure plus income that's not taxed, you've probably got some money to burn on supercars.
What's the point in owning a supercar if you don't stand out?
It's not that hard to find a used luxury car for a good price.
What's the whole point? So you get attention.
Supercars are a way of life in Dubai because it's an easy way to... You want to be seen, but you don't want to be seen in the same car as someone else.
True.
Exclusivity is key in the Dubai supercar scene. Being the only one with that car on the road is a real flex. But that doesn't answer the question why people would just up and abandon these cars.
Because they saw another car.
Why on earth
made them jealous?
Supercars getting thrown away? Well, it turns out a lot of it has to do with a set of religious laws known as Sharia law.
What?
No matter what kind of lifestyle you're trying to lead in Dubai, you'll still have to understand and strictly follow the local laws and customs or face punishment. The economy there has a more worldly connection, but their justice system is partly Sharia and Western law mixed together. This means that there are different consequences for your actions than there would be over here. These infractions range from gossiping to carrying food with poppy seeds to basically
it's illegal to start a rumor on a website. Oh, that's fucking big. Wait, that's actually huge. Goodness me. No shit posting, eh?
To carrying food with poppy seeds to basically a lot of different stuff that's outside the scope of this video.
Hold on, don't scroll through too fast. Let me take a peek. Despite the fact that harassment of female travelers does occur, harassment of women is illegal. Rest in peace, Blizzard. They would not be able to operate there. Sex between unmarried couples is illegal. Whoa! God damn. It's like Dubai is like the household of some teenagers or something. Holding hands and kissing in public are socially unacceptable, and there have been arrests made for such behavior. Wow. This is nutty.
Stuff that's outside the scope of this video.
Fergo,
just like the rest of the world, though, stealing is illegal and it can land you in jail. But what's different in Dubai is that being late on payments is akin to stealing, meaning that if you missed a payment on your credit card, mortgage, or a payment on that brand new flashy McLaren 720S you hastily bought to impress your new friends, you go straight to jail. That loan you're able to get so easily for your supercar that costs as much as a house is starting to look like more of a liability, and now you're not left with a ton of options.
Why not sell the car?
Borrow from your friend who still has a job, or
can you not sell when you loan? I actually don't know how it works.
You get the hell out of Dubai, even if that means leaving your car on the side of the road. And that's what people did. They ditched their cars in parking garages, they end up in impound lots, they even leave them in the middle of the desert. Some of these cars were dropped so quickly that they still have keys in the ignition, and other seemingly necessary items are left behind in a panic. The cars will actually sit in the same place until the police come and tow them away, sometimes months later. The local laws
I'll just go there and take them, I guess.
The abandoned cars down more than you might think in the UAE.
In Dubai,
that sucks for those expats who had to.
In Dubai, it's illegal to swear online, and you can get fined thousands. Holy shit! So there's 0% chance Twitter is allowed in Dubai, right? Like, there's no way. There's actually no way. It wouldn't work. I'm gonna look that up myself. That doesn't even sound real. They'd have to be monitoring everyone's social medias. British woman held in Dubai after swearing in a WhatsApp message. A woman was said to be fighting over the use of her dining room table at the workplace lockdown, and she swore and was held in custody. Wow! She went to jail! Yeah. You can be fined or go to jail for making any kind of like defamatory or swearing statements on social media. Man, Dubai sounds like ass. Holy shit. You can't fuck. You can't swear online or in person. Can't hold hands. Poop trucks everywhere. Oh man, I always thought it was cool. Like, it sounded really cool. Oh, wait a minute. Does that explain why almost every YouTuber who lives in Dubai is the most family-friendly, clean YouTuber of all time? Because if they did try and say anything like a bit edgy, they would get thrown in the slammer? Oh my god, wait, that's wild. I just always assumed it was for like maximum monetization.
Spit and shake on it. The first thing you got to do is actually find the ride you want. And unfortunately, it's not as easy as pulling up a tab on eBay Motors, searching abandoned supercar, and getting the pick of the litter. The first obstacle you'll encounter with any abandoned car in the UAE is locating the title. There's no telling the amount of time in between these cars being abandoned and being impounded by the police. If you're not quick enough, these cars get snapped up by the Dubai 5-0 and sometimes get converted into actual police cruisers.
Oh, so, okay.
The police in Dubai know for a fact that their traditional patrol cars from brands like Chevy, Toyota, and Nissan can't keep up with the likes of a Porsche, Mercedes, or McLaren. And even if it's all for show, the police are now driving around some pretty amazing cars. If you're unlucky, you might see them roll up in a Porsche 918, Aston Martin 177, or a Pagani Huayra. The damages range from some light bodywork to flood damage, all the way to being completely total. Make sure you do your research. But in my opinion, it feels like there are way too many things that could go wrong. You know, no offense to those companies. This car has changed hands for reasons unknown. It's been auctioned off, it's been repaired, and sent your way before you even get a chance to touch it. That's a ton of money to be passed around in too many pockets of people across international waters. Even though most of us can't afford to get our hands on one, it's cool to know.
Yeah, I'll just go take one from like the abandoned car park.
Perfectly good but dusty Ferrari for the price of a car that's sold on Bring a Trailer, maybe. Thank you very much for watching Wheelhouse. If you liked the video, please.
So that was interesting. I've learned so much shit about Dubai. All of it is horrible. It seems like an absolutely miserable place to live, even if you're super wealthy. It's treated like an elementary school classroom. You can't swear, you can't hold hands, you can't, like, what else was there? No sex without being your married partner. Fuck. There's so much shit. Oh, no poppy seed? Which seems a little arbitrary. I guess they just don't like poppy seed, so they banned it. Oh, no rumors? You can't start rumors? That's fucking, seems awful. I know we have a few people that live in Dubai from chat. Like, is it strictly enforced, or is it really rare that someone's going to be thrown in the slammer for that? Because I just read the story about the British woman who was held because she swore in a WhatsApp conversation. She went to jail. I saw a couple different people say rare. I'll just trust it and assume that you're right, because that seems extremely hard to enforce. I'll check it out in a minute, Jimmy. I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick. I will be right back. Just give me a minute. Madagascar, the mind-blowing conspiracy theory. Madagascar is in, like, the movie or the place? The movie. Okay.
You see, they were all...
I haven't seen Madagascar since I was a child.
So, here you go. Anyways, today I'm going to be looking at the two main villains of easily the funniest DreamWorks films, the Madagascar franchise. For those who are unaware, in the first Madagascar film, all of the animals have escaped the zoo, and they've arrived at Grand Central Station, where all of the humans are running wild in terror. All except an old lady, that is, who's just walking slowly and casually until she suddenly lashes out insanely and viciously attacks Alex the lion with karate? Yes, it is bizarre that she...
Is this a real fan theory or just a big joke?
And the capability to literally...
I like really serious ones.
Lion. Then she yells "Bad Kitty" at him. When the police have the animals surrounded, the old woman somehow bypasses their blockade and disables Alex by destroying his testicles. It's not until Madagascar escaped to Africa that we see her again, and this time,
thanks, Handel. Hope you have a good weekend.
She's the main villain. She's on an African tour, and she encounters Alex again. She whacks him with her handbags some more, and he yanks her from the touring vehicle. The fight that ensues really demonstrates her abilities to us, whatever skill she's trained in. Obviously,
I never saw the sequel.
She has some sort of formal training in, I'm assuming, karate, or at least what's left of it now that she's in old age.
Thanks, chat.
But this old woman, known only as Nana...
Okay, so this seems like more of a joke than a real theory. Seems well done, though. But I'm looking for something that'll actually blow my fucking mind. The Mystery Flesh Pit. An hour and 16 minutes on this one. Don't know if I can watch this. This is too long. That's a bit much for just chatting. California hairdresser uses fire to treat split ends. I saw that on Twitter, I think. It's just a gimmick.
Talk about a hot hairdo.
This is insane.
This stylist...
It's a really fucking dumb idea.
On fire to get rid of their split
ends. It's just a scam.
Check it out.
Like, it's a good scam, I guess. People paying to have their hair fucked. But yeah, I saw that. Wait, this guy cuts hair with fire? Oh! Oh! People will try anything for a gimmick. He's using a fucking flamethrower. Looks good! Of course it works! Pretty cool. Looks very effective. Also seems very common. How many barbers are using this fire gimmick? Wow, he's just straight setting a bonfire on this guy's head. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. It looks good. The fire seems to really be helping. His hair was blonde when they started. Man, he is still going. I want to see it with the fire put out. Is it just looping? What an unsatisfying conclusion. Maybe the fire never went out and he just died. Oh my god. Oh yeah, here's the katana guy. This is the guy I remember seeing.
A man in Madrid.
Wait, hold on. Where's the raw video? It doesn't matter. Fuck it. Yes. Master of the blade.
Now,
oh god damn it. Jesus Christ. I just want to see the full raw video. When was the last time I got a haircut? Almost 3 years ago.